Here we go. Boom, boom. Michael Beach. Bro, you know what I was thinking? It's been 15 fucking years, dude. We've known each other.
Really? Shit.
Isn't that shit crazy?
That's crazy, man.
And then I was, what's crazy is we've known each other for like 15 years. But the other thing I was talking about, another buddy of mine that I've known for years, it seems like, I don't know if this is an age thing, but it seems like as time goes by, like different years are like a whole different lifetime. Like if you just look at the last 4 years, it was like different lifetimes, right. Let alone 5 years ago, sure. 10 years ago.
Definitely the last four.
Like each one was like a different world.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, you were on episode, this is going to be like episode 120 something. You were episode number 5.
Really?
Yeah, which is fucking awesome. Thank you, sir. Let's see. I think I got.
Yeah,
ladies
baby.
and gentlemen.
Yeah,
yeah, but we did that episode like I think right in the middle of COVID.
I can't remember when it was. I just remember it was cool. We were talking bikes and.
Well, we were just catching up because you know, but I believe it was like June 2021, like. Oh. Right, lockdown middle.
Yeah, still in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate because I had a lot of space.
Yeah.
So the lockdown was, and I have a lot of people in my house.
Yeah.
But the lockdown was, I could always go out in the yard and hang out and get air and see trees and hear, the wind blowing through. So And what was weird was I had just moved to that place.
You're right.
So the house I had before that.
Toluca Lake, right?
No, even before, right after Toluca Lake was another house, but it had a teeny backyard with a high wall. And, I would have felt a little, even though I was outside, that feeling of.
Right, claustrophobic.
Yeah, because my kids lived in apartments.
Right.
And they were telling me how just terrible that was.
Yeah.
Through COVID, through the lockdown. So I felt really fortunate that I had a lot of space to chill out in because it was a long fucking time.
It was a long fucking time. Yeah, the apartment thing is weird. I live in a building. And it was just, you would see neighbors and you would avoid them.
Right.
Nobody was jumping in elevators at the same time. At parking lots, people were like, oh.
Right, yeah.
Like it was fucking intense.
Yeah, we that's what I'm saying. Like we saw nobody.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you had your fitness stuff already set up.
Yeah, I was working out. I had everything I needed, Yeah. And eventually, obviously, not seeing other people and not being able to hang out and I for whatever reason I love going to Ralph's.
Yeah.
My
I've
wife.
Never heard anybody say that.
I just do. My wife gets food delivered.
Right.
All the time.
Why Ralph's?
I don't know. I just maybe
supermarkets or Ralph's.
Ralph's. Yeah.
Interesting.
No, even wherever I lived, I just went to Ralph's. Now it doesn't mean I don't go to other places when I need to, but
you like Ralph's.
But they just happen to be right next to me. For the 35 years I've lived here.
Yeah.
And I missed that. I really missed that simple little thing of being able to go to Ralph's and take your time and get what you want. And so eventually, of course, they were still open, but people were, wearing masks and bodysuits and shit. Eventually, I said, fuck it. I said, because whenever we got back, we were spraying the stuff down that we bought and I was taking my clothes off and all of that shit.
Burning it?
Yeah. Like,
your wife was waiting with a torch?
Yeah. There was a hallway I had to walk through and I was being
car washed and
cleaned. It was insane. So, but eventually I just said, this is so stupid. Yeah. This is so stupid. And I stopped doing it and I just went to Ralph's and I would stop wearing a mask, and every once in a while somebody there would be, oh sir, you got to put a mask on. You got to put a mask on.
Yeah.
And the first few times I was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't, And then after that, I was just like, no, I'm not wearing it. And I'm not, pro or anti. For me, I was just like, if you want to wear a mask, good. I got nothing to say.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, yeah, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And I stopped, and that's it. And even when we started going to work, I had people, because it was work, I was like, okay, I'll wear my mask and all that stuff. But that it was silly. We were in little tents, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so the actors,
each person was in an individual tent.
Their own tent. Like another tent would be 8 feet away from me, and then another tent over there. And you'd have to have it zipped up if you take your mask off. So if I want some water, I have to zip my mask up, my tent up, take my mask down, and then drink water. And then if I want to unzip it, because it got hot in there, if I want to unzip it, I got to make sure I have my mask on. And we had face shields. So it was so insane. And then, what is that?
I have no idea, but let me close the window. It was so insane.
Yeah, it was so insane. So then we literally would go to set. We would rehearse with our shit on, and then we were ready to shoot.
That doesn't make sense.
We would take our shield off. We would take our mask off. We would put it in our own. They had a PA with a cart. And it would have like four separate drawers, and you'd have your name on a drawer. You'd put your mask and your face shield in the drawer. They'd close it, and then we'd shoot the scene
together,
right there,
2 feet away from each other.
Well, early on when I was doing SWAT, right, that was the first show to come back on network TV. So I'm in prison. I just get out of prison. I haven't seen my son for 12 years without being in prison.
Right.
So I say, I literally am out, and I say, oh, I'm seeing my son for the first time. Can I give him a hug? And the rule was you can't be within 6 feet of another actor on camera.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, what do you expect me to do when I haven't touched my son in 12 years? Yeah. And it was so weird. And they were like, well, you can't do it. So I said, well, let me at least shake his hand or touch his shoulder or something. They literally had to call up to the higher up bosses to see if I could touch his shoulder. And so they said, it finally came back. You can touch his shoulder for 1 second, and then you have to step back.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Wow, this is not gonna work in terms of." So I defied them, and I held his shoulder for 3 seconds, and then I moved back. But
did they at least try to make that episode during COVID, to make it
like it was COVID
like it was
or something?
Yeah.
I know they not on that show.
It was a regular day.
Yeah, it was just
acting you couldn't.
Yeah, it was just for some reason nobody was close to each other.
Everybody was fucking traumatized. I mean, I don't think anybody knew how to deal with that. Like I remember after a certain amount of months, a couple buddies of mine were like, "Dude, we got to ride. We got to ride together. Let's just ride together.
Right.
How about we fucking meet up? We don't take off our helmets nor our gloves.
Right.
Like that. There's no contact.
Right.
And we met, and it was such a surreal scene of 6 dudes of hey.
Yeah. Hey, man.
And I brought some alcohol spray just in case. Hey, what's going on? But it's better than being home.
Right.
I mean, I was out and about. I have my brother-in-law. He grows weed, and he has a place in downtown where he does it legally.
Right.
And he was operational, so he got me a card saying I work there. So I was driving everywhere, no traffic. I do no fucking traffic.
I remember that.
But I was driving almost every day.
Yeah. But that was the weird thing, man. It was you could buy weed, you could buy alcohol, you could buy cigarettes, but all the gyms were closed. So the healthy shit, they stopped. They cut down. oh yeah, you want to get fucked up with alcohol, you want to get fucked up with weed, you're like, oh yeah, no, we can't close those places.
Yeah.
It's just
It was very contradictory.
yeah, it was to me it was backwards,
Very contradictory. Yeah, because now all the studies show get sun, work out, eat
But
healthy.
they showed that a long time before, the press started to, to back it up,
Yeah.
And I understand, like, early on, look, nobody knew what the fuck was going on. And everybody was scared, and I get it.
Yeah.
You hear, oh, you get COVID, you could die, you'll die, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And obviously there are people that died and that it's serious. And if you're old, if you have comorbidities, stuff like that. But then, the whole fight about, oh, you have to get your young kids vaccinated. That was something I was always not sure about because it was always experimental.
Right.
And
even then, it wasn't even experimental long enough.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the studies, you go, well, with the studies, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, it came out that kids were, they had a real strong immunity, or at least that they weren't affected as much as other people. Yeah. My kids have had COVID twice. My young kids, the 12, 9, and 6, and even when they were younger, and they had no idea they had it. We only knew they had it because we had it and we had them tested, and they had it, but there was nothing different about their personality. No.
When you got it, what did you feel?
I was tired for a couple of days, and I had a cough.
Yeah,
but I never lost my sense of smell or taste, or I never had a headache. My wife did.
Yeah, my
wife had those things, and the second time I got it, I didn't even have a cough. Yeah, and I think I was tired for a day, and then after that, and I was tested all the time.
Yeah,
because once work started in, I think, August of 2020, I was working nonstop, so I was getting tested, 7 times a week. It was insane. I just was tested because what were they doing? I was doing SWAT. Well, different shows did different things, but eventually they all became the nostrils.
The nostrils, yeah.
Well, I was doing, 3 different TV shows, and then would go on to a movie, and it was just constant testing. Even when, like, if I had 2 weeks off, they'd have someone come to the house and test me every couple of days, just to make sure that
they would come to your house.
Come to your house, yeah. Sometimes you have to go somewhere, but in general,
it sure created a lot of jobs for people. Dude. It sure created. There was a place right here, a block away. The Alfred's Coffee.
Yeah. Okay,
so right in front of Alfred's Coffee, they developed a new building, and that first floor, some medical guys came in there, and they were just doing testing.
Right.
Dude, there was a line out the door for like a year. Like and it was $150, $200. They were cashing in.
I mean, TV shows
it makes sense.
They were paying somewhere around, and obviously it varies, but somewhere, the ones I was on, they were paying somewhere around $150,000 a week for all of this stuff, for testing, for the people, to keep everybody compliant, to all the bullshit. $150,000, and that's each show.
Yeah.
I mean, some shows might be a little less, some a little more.
That's
but
fucking crazy.
Oh man, it was.
It's crazy nuts. How many people profited from this.
Yeah,
and it's crazy how many people lost their whole business. Because then what you're talking about, you also run into that stupid shit where it's like, okay, Walmart can be open, Target can be open, the big fucking boys can be open, but if you're a privately owned, you can't be open.
Right.
So they got fucked. And then afterwards, what was even weirder is you can't eat inside, but you can eat outside inside.
Right. Yes.
That's okay. And it's like, what? That doesn't even mean it makes sense. Because dude.
It was,
it was a different lifetime.
Yeah. And part of it, you go, especially early on, you go, I understand. It's confusing. Everybody, Even though, the viruses have been, we have virologists, right?
Right.
So we know pretty much how viruses spread, and they, they're different things for different, shit that we don't know. But a lot of us have become familiar with because of what we just went through.
Yeah.
But when they talk about misinformation, it was like, well, dude, last week you said this, and then now this week you're saying this, and you're the same dude, and why didn't you know this last week? And you go, okay, well, studies.
And if you didn't know it, why did you even say it? Or
right,
promote
exactly,
it? Yeah.
exactly. So it was just fucked, man. But I was so ready to get out of it.
I'm trying to hold this, but I do like this one thing, but it's a name that nobody likes. But Trump.
Yeah.
When he came out and said fake news, because he was the first person to say fake news.
Right.
When he said fake news, everybody's like, what the fuck are you saying? Fake news? That doesn't even make sense. Fake news.
Right.
And now it's like fake news is real, dude.
People.
Like fake news.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
But before that, I never heard it. And that's all I'm going to say about that topic.
Well, no, yeah, but the whole idea is, if you're watching the news, then what you're hearing is real. Right. It's accurate.
Right. Or if you read in a newspaper.
Yeah.
It's
because
real.
they spent time making sure this information was correct, and they got different sources and all, blah, blah, blah. And now you're like, oh, well, maybe they didn't.
Yeah.
Across the board, so yeah, it's I definitely have decided that I don't care what news network or company or whatever it is, that I'm not just going to believe what's said, no matter who is telling it to me.
It's kind of like when you see a pregnant woman, everybody wants to advise that woman what to eat, what to do,
Right.
and my first wife from Van Nuys Harley. The doctor was very smart. He goes, look, because she was in TV, she was a news anchor, and everybody was approaching her.
Right.
And he goes, look, and she would repeat it. She's like, this person said this, and this person said that, and mix this with that. And she goes, look, or he said, anytime somebody gives you advice, just say, I have a doctor. So, and to your point, if you're going to have national news saying you have to do this and you have to stay in it, go to your fucking doctor. Like, that's who you deal with.
Right.
That's who knows you better than anybody else.
Right.
But, I mean, we recap it and look at it and say, fuck, man. Did we really just turn on the TV and let some people say, hey, don't go outside, tell us not to go outside? Like, that's fucking insane.
Like outside.
Where, like don't go.
Yeah. Outside.
And
it's funny because I still see people today
by themselves
in the car
with a mask.
Or on a bicycle outside with a mask.
And it's so bad.
And I just go, you know what? They're doing their thing. But to me, have we screwed up a group of people in terms of just their social skills? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think sometimes I see people with masks, and I go, oh, well, maybe they're sick and they just don't want to get somebody else sick.
Right.
So there are reasons, and it would be silly for us to say why we think that person is wearing a mask, because we don't know.
Right.
I mean, it could be a silly reason
right.
as far as we're concerned, but it could be a legit reason. Like if I knew,
like they were probably wearing it before the whole thing, and now
yeah,
like, well, everybody's making fun of me,
right. But if I knew I had COVID,
right,
but I was like, I'm not gonna fucking stay in the house, I mean, I might for the first few days, but if I went out to Ralph's to hang out, to buy my stuff, and I knew I was getting over COVID, I might wear a mask, because I just, you never know, you never know who you could be hurting,
right,
when you out in public, knowingly, even if I know I have COVID, and I'm not worried about me, because I'm pretty healthy and I've survived it a few times, but I don't want some old lady that I happen to be, next to, because, I don't want to be responsible.
Yeah, but you're not going to go around and just touching everything.
No.
I got to ask this on the Ralph things. what is it about Ralph's? Is there a fucking coffee there you like? Is there a dessert or a snack? Is it the layout? What is it?
You know what I like about it? I think because my wife is like, she does Whole Foods and all, you know, all the healthy place where you're spending
Trader
extra
Joe's,
money.
Arrow One.
Right. And I think I like Ralph's because it's like a regular fucking place, you know, where.
What about Vons?
I mean, I'll take Vons over Whole Foods or something like that. And I'm a healthy dude, but I just don't like the idea of like, oh, this food is
organic,
is better, and so you got to pay us $5 extra for this grape right here, you know. And so I don't know. I think.
Actually, a quick question. Everybody that follows you, everybody that knows you, you're a very active individual. You stay fucking fit. You've always been fit. I mean, you've always looked great. You fucking look great now. I know you're active as hell.
Yeah.
But how's your nutrition? Like, what do you eat?
Well, usually, first of all, I don't eat pork or red meat. I haven't done that
for years. Yeah, I've known that.
Maybe since 79.
Yeah.
You know, so that's never been a part of my thing. And I don't particularly eat a lot of sugars.
Yeah.
Not to say that I don't, but when I'm really training, that's gone. You know, no juices, I pretty much drink water. And when I'm training, I just drink too much water, so where I'm peeing every 15 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
But my regimen now, especially since I can't lift, I can't even do any real serious cardio because I have sutures. And
this was what, 2 weeks ago?
This was a month ago now,
Is it
almost
a month?
Yeah. But they say if I sweat, because I can't take this off, that I could infect the sutures.
Yeah, of course.
So don't
sweat
excessively sweat, you know. So what I'm doing is I'm walking now. Like yesterday, I took a 4.5 mile walk. You know, I wasn't expecting to, but I was somewhere and I was like, oh, I'll take an Uber back. But I said, you know what? Fuck it. It's nice out.
Yeah.
So I just walked. Because I always feel like I need to do something, you know. So I get this off in about 10 days. And then when that happens, the sutures will be gone. I'll have a brace, a small fitting brace. But, yeah, I'm going to start hiking and, you know, doing some box jumps and, you know, lunges and stuff like that. I'm going to start sweating because I need to.
But on the nutrition,
nutrition-wise,
no pork, no beef.
No pork, no beef.
Easy.
Low sugar.
Carbs?
Yeah, I eat carbs.
Normal. Rice, bread.
Yeah. But when I know I'm like, okay, I gotta drop my body fat.
Yeah.
I always eat carbs.
Yeah. I think it's impossible if you have kids not to eat carbs.
Well, yeah, for sure.
You always make a sandwich or whatever.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're not gonna finish your macaroni, like whatever.
Right. But when I get into the head, then I can regulate and make sure that I don't eat too many.
Yeah.
But you have 30 years ago, you know, I go without carbs.
Right.
And a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's the way you're supposed to do it." But today, it's kind of considered not very healthy.
The no carbs.
The no carbs.
Really?
To go on to no carbs, yeah.
I think it depends on. I mean, first of all, everybody needs to look at their like genetics,
right?
Because not everything's going to work for everybody, right?
Right.
You know, some people could do the vegan diet, some people can't do the vegan diet,
right.
Some people could do the vegetarian, some people can't. But I think with the bread, like I did keto, and they say for my body it's like really good. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that if you start getting into high cardio activities,
right.
You need carbs to, you know, it's a better fuel for that.
But that's life though. The life is about fuel. It's
right.
about energy. And so and I guarantee you, everybody that does no carbs, they're doing it for an amount of time.
Right.
If no carbs was good, then you could do it all the time.
Right.
But your body needs carbs. You know what I mean?
Well, when you do no carbs, you go into ketosis. And what ketosis is that now you're burning fat versus carbs. So
Right.
it's a different
But
fuel
you can
source.
still burn fat while you eat some carbs.
Of course,
Right?
And people have done it.
Right,
over and over.
exactly. But for instance, you go to no carbs because people want to go down to 6, 7, 5, 4% body fat.
Right.
Right, but that's not healthy for you.
Right.
You do that for what? Like if you're doing a show, or if you want to, you're gonna be on film or something like that.
Go on a strict diet. Yeah.
Right, but you don't stay there.
It's not a lifestyle.
Yeah,
It's not sustainable.
Even the bodybuilders, I mean, like world-class bodybuilders, they'll go down to fucking nothing, right?
Yeah.
And your face looks gaunt, and the idea is you have no energy because you're not getting the fuel you need, right?
Yeah.
But it's for that look.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, at that extreme, I've never done it at that extreme.
right, but when the show is over, they fucking run to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And they just fucking load up, and and then they look amazing for like 2 or 3 days because their body they filled in. But the no carbs thing, I mean, when I say no carbs, I mean no carbs.
Right.
It's just and again, I'm not an expert.
Nobody is, and the studies change every single day.
Yeah,
every day.
But I know just from how I feel.
Right.
I just don't want to feel like that anymore.
I've done it. There's just certain diets that I think, depending again on your genetics, on your back, like Armenians eat so much fucking meat that if you're like, hey, become a vegetarian, it's not going to be a good turnout. Maybe for 30 days is cool,
right?
But if you do
that's
this for
my
6
point.
months, yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Yeah, so
it's like if it was good,
if you're doing a cleanse, yeah,
but
then there's people from Greece that can be on a fucking salad diet all the time because genetically that's like what there you are.
Right.
And then there's people that just live off fish.
Yeah.
Like I met, which was in 2000, the strongest kid in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That he was like 10 years old, 11 years old, ripped. All he ate was fish. His dad was just giving him fish all the time.
And he had no carbs.
And he had no carbs, and he was Guinness World Record kid, and now he's like 30. He doesn't work out, just fucking gone. He's like, I got tired of it.
Because you
the working out.
The
working out. I don't know about the eating habits, but like
eating, it's I don't know. It's unfortunately here in America where we have been, we eat bullshit. Even forget about talking about pizza or fries or a lot of candy or the way our food is made with the preservatives and
ranch,
all of that shit.
Ketchup, the mayos, the fucking sodas.
Yeah, we have, whereas certain countries where they are a lot of plant-based, and it doesn't mean that they don't eat carbs, but they have a different. And I'll never do plant-based because I love
the meat you do.
Fish, and I love fish to death, and I love chicken, stuff like that. But there is something to be said for people that eat cleaner, more.
Well, it's not just that. I know what you're saying, but then here's the overall example people give. How come I can go to France and order baguettes and croissants and I won't gain weight?
Right.
How come I go to Italy and eat pasta and pizza and I don't gain weight? Mm-hmm. And while I'm traveling there, that's the least I'm working out, and the worst I'm eating, and I'm maintaining, and I feel great. And it's just the problem is it's how they process this weed. It's all this.
That's what I'm saying.
Pesticides.
Yeah.
It's all. It's not just the carbs. It's just the way.
But that's my point. It's what
which is
the
weird,
things that are allowed in this country.
Yeah.
In order to make food last longer, is just different in most countries, and in those places they walk a lot.
They walk a lot, yeah.
Like
those it's funny, those fanny packs and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like rocking those. Well, I was traveling for 2.5 months.
Right.
And I was like, I need a bag because you're walking everywhere,
right.
And you need your wallet and your cell phone, and you need an extra battery charger, and you need a cable. And I got like a nice little fucking bag, and then somebody in the U.S. was like, "Aha, that's fucking gay."
Right.
I was like, "No, dude, this is convenient, bro."
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But absolutely. Of course, here we have our fucking large cars, and we carry everything in there.
Nobody walks here. It was weird. Yesterday, I walked 4.5 miles. I probably ran into 5 people.
Yeah.
6 people, you know, because everybody's in the car.
Yeah.
You know.
And, walking. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was you know, and it's weird because you go by and you're like, hey, what's going on? And people are like, whoa. Why are you saying hi to me? You know, I don't want anything. I'm just saying hello. You know, it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to go hiking as much as possible.
Yeah, I love to hike, man.
Hiking's the shit, man. Here we got Fryman.
Yeah.
And then we got Runyon.
Runyon is great. Yeah, yeah.
All of those are great.
Yeah.
Talking about how you don't see people a lot, this was just something random while I was traveling. Isn't it weird? The moment you get onto the airplane, within 10 minutes, all you see is land. Like, there's so much land. Like, I had a 16-hour flight. It was all land. Like, I didn't see communities because, you know, at nighttime you can see like lights and stuff. It's just so much fucking land. And then when you have these New York and LA and we're all compressed and on top of each other, and it's like, guys, there's a lot of fucking land out there. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, there's more
of
it.
Big country.
It's a big world, man.
Yeah, that's true.
But those places don't get explored, or people don't live there, or they don't make it out there, which is very strange.
It's weird because, you know, I mean, as a person who's basically lived in New York and L.A.,
right?
You know, my whole life. What I love is since I travel so much, I get to see a lot of these little towns.
Yeah,
and it's weird because you go, wow, they have, you know, we think that, at least I thought that here in LA is where you find all the new movie theaters and the new restaurants and all that stuff. And if you go to Iowa, you know, you won't find that.
Yeah.
Because it's Iowa. But that's totally not true. Like, they have
the same
amazing, even better in some
yeah.
cases, movie theaters and the area where the restaurants are. They're newer, and they have more room. They have more space.
Yeah.
You know, and they have more. Maybe they have more need for that entertainment because it's not, you know, a big place like LA or New York that has it all over the place, you know.
Yeah.
And they're great places to go.
It's an awesome point, and they're newer.
Yeah,
they're growing and they're newer.
Yeah,
but this is one of my favorite countries to go to is Cuba, and because I'm Cuban,
right?
But besides being Cuban, it's the only place I don't see the same thing. So, for example, I've been to Mumbai. I've been to Armenia, and as soon as I got to the middle, there was a Pizza Hut and a KFC and a Taco Bell, and I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I've been to Mumbai, all right, and I went to the slum. And as I'm walking through the slum, I'm like, oh my God, you know, the smells, whatever, it's crazy, you know. The insides of the places are nice, but they just throw everything out to the streets. It's a fucking mess. But as I'm walking outside, I walk like maybe a few blocks, and then I'm like, there's this nasty wall next to me, and then there was this glass door with a gold handle, and I'm like, what's this? I open it, and it's a fucking mall, and there's Zara, and there's Victoria's Secret, and there's the AMC, and there's the, you know, Louis Vuittons in every fucking major city. It's like, how exclusive is this shit? Like, it's the same thing everywhere.
Yeah.
Except for in Cuba. In Cuba, there's no McDonald's, there's no Burger King, there's no Sheraton, there's no, it's a Caribbean island with old school European buildings and old school American cars. Like, you're not going to get that experience anywhere else.
Right.
Well, maybe North Korea or something. But
Right.
But you're not going to get
Never
the
been
Caribbean.
there.
Yeah. But you're not going to get like this other thing. So that I like that because.
And why do you think that is? Like,
well, because there's the embargo and there's sanctions against Cuba since 1961, since the Cuban Missile Crisis. So even though Cuba's 90 miles, Havana's 90 miles away from Key West, they've kind of isolated, and they haven't they isolated it.
Right.
So there is any American company to do business there is taboo. Mm-hmm. It's like taboo. So they have. So the sucky part, as a tourist, it's awesome because you're like, oh my God, dude, like I escaped it all. Like your cell phone doesn't work in certain. When I was there in 2016, 17, no Wi-Fi, no Facebook, no Instagram, no, they didn't have any of that. No cell phone service, really. Now it's opening up because now the Castro regime's like down.
Right.
But it's starting to change. But yeah, it's just sanctions.
It's funny because there's something to be said for that, to not have all the crazy shit that we have here.
Yeah. 90 miles away.
Yeah, but it's kind of like refreshing.
Yeah. Again, for us, it's amazing.
Yeah.
For us,
right.
it's amazing.
But then you go, do you want to live like that for your whole life, knowing what we know?
If it's an option, yes.
Yeah. Maybe so.
If it's an option. But they don't have that option.
Right. That's right.
And again, as tourists, we go there and we're like, well, this is kind of cool because, like, the social media platform is, the ACs don't work in many homes.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody just goes to El Malecón. El Malecón is like this area where, like, waves just splash up, and it's this beautiful road. So at night, there's thousands of people there, and they're just gossiping. They're just at midnight.
Right.
1 a.m. They're just talking. So that's their social media. That's where they hear their news. That's where they hear their rumors and all that shit.
But that's how it was before social media, before the internet,
Exactly.
I mean, we always talk about how when we were kids, we were never fucking in the house.
Yeah.
Right?
All we knew is the street lights. As soon
Street
as street lights turn on,
they turn on, you got to go home.
That's it. That's all.
Right? And today is, my kids, and we have a strict thing about when you can be on your iPad and when you can't. We have these pretty hard rules that we stand by. But eventually, on the weekends they get the iPads and they don't want to go outside.
So strange.
They don't want to ride their bikes. And I live on a private street that's big, and they have tons of room where they can ride their bikes, and I don't have to worry about them because nobody can get in, and they can, play basketball. I have a basketball court, half court in my yard. But they want to fucking be on the iPads.
I know those fucking iPads are terrible. Those iPads. Rosie Mosey, have you played with that one? It's an app for kids.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know that one. There's so many.
Yeah, but this one has like pre-K, first grade, all the way to like 8th grade.
Right.
And I'll be like, dude, you want to play with iPad? You got to do your Rosie Mosey. And my kid's 4. He's reading. He's like doing math, subtraction. Like, he's doing really good.
Yeah, we have those types of things too. But
they're necessary. But they get bored of it.
Yeah.
YouTube Kids.
Yeah. Exactly.
YouTube.
Yeah, I have to ban YouTube, like on the TV.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't watch YouTube. And I'll give them like a couple of hours on a Friday or a Saturday to watch YouTube. But they have to do it on their iPad because I can't stand hearing that shit. It's the silliness that's on YouTube that
and the
they
random
watch.
Shit that comes up afterwards. Because like the first 2 videos are cool, but then random shit will come up. And like sometimes they'll cuss, sometimes they'll just be like wild or weird.
Right.
I got a friend of mine. He's got 7 kids. Okay. And I'll be like, hey Perry, when's the last time you like traveled? He goes, traveling? That shit's like impossible, bro. That's like 3 Ubers, 4 hotel rooms, fucking 9 tickets for air flights. For us, in and out's a fucking $1,000.
That's right. That's right.
How do you do that? Have you guys traveled anywhere? Or?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's hard because of school.
Right.
Right. But when you have time, like I just finished before the strike, I was doing a show in down the Cape, in Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Yeah. And
the kids, we have not just school, but we have football training, we have gymnastics, singing, dance. We're getting into jujitsu, stuff like that.
Oh my God!
So it's so every day is something, right? Yeah. But we were able to find about 10 days where my kids were, we can, obviously we had to cut off a couple of, you won't go this day or that day. They traveled to Massachusetts where I was doing a show. I happen to have 8 days off in a row.
Which sounds like it doesn't happen.
Which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
So they came down. I was in they had me in a house, so I had plenty of room. I had rooms for everybody, and we were able to spend like 10 days, we went deep sea fishing.
Oh,
Nice. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. The kids, it was amazing because we were able, and two of them had never been on a plane. So it was a big deal for them. Or two of they had been, but they didn't remember because they were too young.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be a really cool time, but that's unusual for us because being able to get everybody free and
to accommodate and make and then their ages and their crowds and their hobbies.
Well, we've done stuff like we go to Vegas because we could just drive there, right?
Yeah,
and we'll spend 4 days. And in that case, I have to get either a big suite if they have available, or I have to get with the two older boys, I have to get a suite and another room adjacent to the suite or just not adjacent to the suite because you have all these kids.
Yeah.
And those experiences are super expensive,
Yeah. Yeah, they rack up quick.
Oh, big time. They
rack up quick.
So I understand, this guy with 7 kids.
it's wild.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, again, your fitness is amazing. Your family, your wife, and your kids, like these are staples that you're known for.
For me, those are the most important things.
Forever. Since I've known you, and it's only been 15 years, let alone this is something that no matter how far back, I want to say congrats on that. That's a beautiful thing.
Thanks. Yeah. I've been with my wife for 22 years now. I was married before.
Right.
So I have 8 kids, but 4 of them are adults now.
Yeah.
And then the 4 that my wife and I have now. But
no, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I feel really fortunate because somebody asked if we'd go on this this marriage counseling show or something, and I was like, I don't know if I don't like giving advice,
right?
Because I don't even know. They go, well, why is your marriage so
what's the
great?
secret?
What's the secret? And I'm like, I don't know. I just happen to, of course I've been divorced,
right?
So I don't have the secret. But now I'm in, marriage with my wife for 22 years, and things are
a long time,
and things are great. Like there's no, like I'm not like, oh man, I don't know if I could do 25. It's the one of the best parts of my life,
right?
My marriage,
and it shows. Anybody that watches your post,
and it's real. It's not bullshit and all of that. But I don't want to start giving advice about how you do this and how you do that. It's not because I just happen to find the right person, and I don't know what we do any differently than anyone else. We just happen to click.
No, that you have a beautiful relationship there.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
The fact that you share your stuff so much, when did you start doing that? Because you post everything, man.
Yeah.
You fucking don't give a fuck. You will roll out of bed and be like,
yeah,
I just had a fucking nightmare, and it was scary.
Yeah.
But I realized, like, when did
I try to, on my, what's it called? When on your little bio thing, I really only have, it has actor, which is, I didn't put that there. Just, I'm an actor. So
yeah,
I guess I put that there. But
well, you had to select something.
Yeah, you select, right? So I select actor. But then I have family man and gym rat.
Yeah.
Right? And then I used to have biker.
Right.
But I got rid of that a while ago. But so I have actor, family man, gym rat. So I try to keep it, I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about religion. I don't, so everything I do, like, I don't even do too much actor stuff. Like every once in a while, I'll show a clip of something or I'll promote something I'm on, but that doesn't happen that often. Most of my stuff is about my family, my wife or my kids.
Day to day.
My day to day
surgery.
Shit. Yeah, right.
You fucking came out of surgery and you posted a video.
Well, dude, my wife,
yeah.
I remember before surgery, I don't really remember. My wife said, film me, when post surgery.
Yeah.
So I'm loopy as hell. I don't even know she's filming me. I have no idea. As a fact, I have no idea of all the stuff that happened. I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
None of it.
I'm sure.
But she filmed it.
Had a serious surgery.
It was about 20 minutes that she filmed, somewhere around there. And just happened to have some funny ass shit, some gems.
Oh, yeah, some good.
Yeah, and so when I saw them,
Natural.
Yeah, but I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
And I saw them, and we were watching it, and we were cracking up.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, fuck it, because I talked about how, because I love working out so much, but it became more and more difficult because of the problem with my wrist.
Right.
So, and I knew, I tried to get this surgery 2.5 years ago.
Really?
But the doctor, he's like, 4 months out, 5 months out, before you get an appointment to go in for the surgery. And I'm like, well, and I'm going to be in Europe, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be there. And certain jobs I just don't want to say no to. And I just love working.
Yeah.
So it just kept getting postponed. This time I went in, the pain has been ridiculous. I had no mobility.
Yeah.
And you could you can hit me like that and it would hurt.
Yeah, just where you have the scar already. It feels like a fucking sensitive spot.
Oh, man. This is better than how it was if you hit me doing that, before. And so he happened to have a cancellation, and his people called me and they go, look, we can get you in 1 week.
Right.
And I was like, 1 week. I said, okay. I talked to my wife. I said, I got to jump on this. And we were in strike, right? The writers were striking.
Strikes,
The actors were striking. I said, I got to do this. So I did it. But the recovery is 6 weeks before I can not have anything on, even though I'm going to have a nice brace that they literally formed to my arm. Yeah,
custom
made. But after that, I can't lift anything for 6 months. They say, and don't try to, even though you think, you're going to pick up this bag from Ralph's, you think you can do it.
Brought to you by Ralph's.
Ralph's, the place you need to shop.
Hang out.
So they said, you're going to think you can do it, but don't. Right. Because that's where people,
of course,
they backslide because they think, I feel better and da-da-da, and they start lifting shit. He goes, if you want to take that risk, so, I did it so that I could, first of all, not feel the constant pain. And I wanted to be able to lift every time I lifted, especially pushing moves, it was painful. And I was afraid that at some point my wrist is going to give way and it's going to fall on me, or it's going to drop and hit my shoulder or something like that. So I would just go very, very light. Some cables I can use because I dropped the cables. It just goes up or goes away. But I just wanted to get back the options of lifting how I wanted to lift.
Yeah.
And hopefully, when this is all done, I'll be able to do stuff I wanted to do. Now, at 60, I'm not trying to lift a gazillion pounds anyway.
Right.
But I would like to lift a little
60,
bit heavier.
Huh?
Yeah, well, I turn 60 next week, I think. Whenever the 30 is. Oh, thank you.
You look amazing.
My scruffiness,
I mean, that's the only thing you got is white hairs, but fuck, I'm 41. I got white hairs that's nothing. Dye that. You look like a fucking kid.
Yeah. Well, I feel good, man. I feel good, and I think for me, the idea of fitness is I see a lot of people who, 70, who can barely walk, or they have a cane, or they're hunched over, or they can, but they can't jog, or they can't run to the door, 70, 75, but there are a lot of people who I show on my page, on my Instagram page, which is all I have. I don't do anything else. I don't have Twitter and all that stuff. But I see them doing amazing things, at 80, at 85, and I'm like, that's what I want to be. That's the kind of, I don't want to be, I want to live to 85, 90 or whatever. But if I'm confined to a wheelchair, or
right, I get that. Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like I just want to be as active and vital and independent. I really want that, and I think, barring things out of my control, I can do that. And what's in my control is how active I am, so that, and obviously, the more active you are, the more, of course, we all deteriorate. But 100%, and I think I can do things that will up my chances of being independent and vital as I get older and older, and that's what I want to do.
Question and a comment. Actually, I'll just make the comment first. What's interesting about the working out thing is that lifting weights, they say, is like the fountain of youth. Like making muscle, because you deteriorate and you lose muscle, and by doing
and
weights,
your bone density,
and your bone you lose your bone density. So that's a big thing. The only thing that I've noticed personally on the opposite side of that is the people, like runners.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hardcore runners, they get fucked up in their 60s, 70s, man. Their joints and their knees and their legs,
your hip flexors,
they get fucked up. You would think that's like way
well,
better.
they don't have muscle mass, they don't, and again, we're not talking about being bodybuilders.
Of course. And it's really fucked up on their joints.
Yeah. And you don't have to, it's weird because you don't have to do extreme crazy stuff.
Not at all. No.
You just
your own body weight. Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, squats, air squats.
Yeah. And weights are good. I mean, I love weights. Weights are good, and you don't have to put super heavy weight on, but if you are having some kind of resistance, that's good for you. That shit is good.
Yeah. Anything, even walking 30 minutes a day, like just the simple shit.
Right.
What about supplements? Do you take anything?
Sometimes I have. I kind of
creatines, whey protein.
Yeah, I kind of think it's all
bullshit.
It's all unnecessary. I mean, that's true.
Right.
That's the fucking truth. It's unnecessary, especially if you eat well.
Yeah. Because creatine's in meat, proteins in foods and
but
fish.
Look, if you want to put on some weight, you want to put on a little. If you're a skinny guy and you want to have some, creatine, it will help you. But it's not necessary to be healthy. I think the one thing that I would probably stick with is protein. Whey protein, because if you want to maintain a certain weight, but you don't want to eat all of this, food that fills up your stomach, the protein is a nice little supplement to help keep you there. But the truth is, none of it is necessary.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're right. In general, there is cases where
vitamins are I don't consider vitamins supplements.
Right.
But I mean, I guess
do you do like vitamins? Like, do you do like athletic greens or?
I used to do multivitamins.
Which is also kind of like you can get in your food.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you eat well, there's certain things like magnesium that a lot of people are deficient in.
Right.
That are good for your bones and stuff like that. Because that's what happens, right? Our bones become weak and brittle.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why people can't do the things that they did. But if you are working out and keeping them active, then
you'll maintain.
you'll maintain. Yeah.
TRT, HGH, any of those things?
I've done TRT. I've never done HGH.
HGH, I hear, is crazy.
Yeah, I've never done it, so I don't know how that feels. But I was doing TRT for a couple of reasons. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. TRT, for men is two things. Obviously, it gives you that testosterone and helps you, gives you that little kick to work out. But it's also a sexual thing, for when you're, my wife is 16, 17 years younger than I am. So there was a point, and to be honest with you, I think it was because a lull I was having in working out.
Right.
I wasn't working out as much, right? So I wasn't as virile as I had been, and it was harder for me, it was harder for me to stay erect and hard. And so I'm like, oh, well, TRT, go on that. And I talked to a friend who was, very instrumental in it. And he helped me out and he gave me this regimen. And I talked to a couple of doctors. And so I did it for about a year and a half. And I thought it was helping me. And I guess it was. But I found when I started working out again and I slowly got off of it, that
you were doing the same thing.
I didn't need it at all. As a matter of fact, it was better. I was better. So I stopped it. I stopped it probably a year ago.
Because we spoke about it, I think, like 2 years ago.
Yeah. And dude, I don't have any of those problems. I'm as hard as I've ever been, and my desire never went away.
Yeah.
But I just I'm like, yeah, working out.
That's
it.
Keeping
active. My body is feeling good. I get better sleep. I take naps too sometimes because when I
love fucking naps.
Oh man.
Naps are the shit.
When my body tells me, I'm sitting down and my body's like, and it's relaxing, and I just take a nap and I wake up, I feel way better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because when I work out for real. Like, it's not always 100%, and I don't think you have to be 100% all the time. Right. I mean,
yesterday I did like a 40% workout, and it was fucking great.
That's fine, too.
I was pissed that I didn't do my 100%, but with that time, I was like, this is great.
You know what? A lot of people think, if I don't do 100%, I don't want to work out. I think that's a mistake. Yeah. And I think
you're setting up yourself to fail.
Right. And if I don't have an hour or an hour and a half, whatever your normal time is, I'm not going to work out. No, there are plenty of times when I work out for 35 minutes and I get a lot done and I feel great.
And your energy's through the roof.
Yeah. And the real problem with working out is consistency.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I know I don't have enough time to do what I want to do, but I want to go to the gym because mentally I want to my mental side to know you fucking went.
Right.
Chalk that up. That's a win.
Yeah.
And even if I only get 3 exercises for one body part or something, you know,
10 minutes.
I
whatever.
went.
Yeah.
I went. It's a chalk it up. Because when I stop going, when that one day turns into 2, turns into a week, and it's easy. It happens easily, and it happens to me too.
Yeah.
That's when you get fucked.
Yeah.
So I know I'm not going to make it in 7 days a week. I don't want to make it in 7 days a week. I want to do 5, but I know there are going to be days when I can't fucking make it for whatever reason, right? So when I know, I'm like, you have the time right now. You don't want to go in.
Yeah.
But you have the time. So fucking go to the gym.
Yeah.
And I go. And,
and it's great.
And it's great.
It's fucking great.
There's almost never a time when I go to the gym and I leave and I'm like, wow, that was stupid. Wow, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
Almost never.
There was like a meme that says, I've never met anybody that went to the gym and says, this sucks. I shouldn't have come.
Yeah.
Like, you'll never meet that. Of course, unless if you have like a stupid injury. But
if you don't like the gym or whatever, or, you're intimidated by people, which kind of sucks too, because I always love when I see, a little skinny guy or somebody who's overweight or older person. I love when I see them in the gym.
Yeah.
Because you go, they're trying, they're here. And
and it's wild.
yeah, and it's all. I mean,
It's wild, and it's wild because now that I've been going to the gym a lot more these last 3 years,
right.
I see what you're talking about. I see like the skinny guy. I'm like, look, even the skinny guy has to come to the gym. Then I see the fit guy, and he's got to come to the gym.
Yeah,
I don't know what
somebody's hanging out outside. They want to get in on the conversation.
They're like, what the fuck's going on? But you see a 65-year-old, 70-year-old Asian dude just pulling whatever, and it's like they showed up. They showed up, and they're there, and this is necessity for all of us.
I go in. I love because I see at the gym I go to a lot. I belong to a couple of gyms, but the gym I go to a lot, I see 80-year-old guys.
Yeah,
and they hang out together and they talk, and a couple of them look old. They look old, but they're at the gym and they go all the time. And I go, that's the guy I want to be. I don't want to be quite like this guy, but he's here. He's here, and he's fucking 80.
Yeah,
I mean, so that's for me. That's the driving force of. And again, it's not about, I'm not going to, I used to, when I was young, spend 3 hours in the gym. I'll never do that again, but maybe 90 minutes, if I'm doing some cardio as well. But pretty much in an hour, I can be in and out of the gym and be satisfied with what I did, doing what I needed to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Your career, you've been getting a lot of projects lately. Is this the busiest you've been? I mean, you've always been busy, but it just seems like
it might be
like I'm flipping on TV like,
it might be. I mean, I'm a very fortunate guy. I've only ever worked acting wise, since I became a professional actor. I didn't have to do
originally
other
from
things.
Bronx, four brothers, right?
Well, I have one brother and two sisters. But I'm from Boston. But I grew up. I moved to New York. As a teenager, I went to school and went to Juilliard there. And then as soon as I graduated, I started my first job 2 weeks after graduation. Yeah. And I've never done another job outside of acting.
Amazing.
To support myself and my 8 kids.
Since what year?
86.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
and now you're
but I thought it was weird. 10 years ago when I before I was turning 50, I thought, okay, things are going to slow down, because you're getting older and it's a young person's thing.
Yeah, right. You had that mentality.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I'm still going to work, but things are going to slow down for me and I'm going to, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to prepare myself for that mentally.
Right.
But
you were fucking wrong.
I was wrong as a motherfucker.
Goddamn.
I mean, I think, I am working like a demon. And it's been great. I feel good. Yeah. I think the projects are, for the most part, they're all pretty good. Sometimes I'll do an indie with somebody that because of, first of all, I love doing indies. I love helping out people that have these great ideas, but they don't have any money, and they're gonna have to get subpar actors and stuff like that. So if for whatever reason we get in contact, and I read the script and I help better the script as much as I can, and then I'll call my friends, and I'll say, okay, I'm coming on as an actor, but let me come on as a creative producer, and I'll work on the script with you, and then I'll call my friends. Yeah. And so you'll have a bunch of badass actors, and I do that every once in a while. That's awesome, man. We have a ball. I mean, it's not always great, but one I did that is called Imminence, and it's on like Apple TV and stuff like that. And it was a rough shoot for so many reasons, but I called in a bunch of guys, and even during the shoot, I was not happy with a bunch of things, but we kept pushing hard. Nobody ever gave up, and we kept pushing hard. And the film is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. It's a low budget and all of that stuff, but the story is strong. I think the acting is pretty good, and it turned out to be. I've watched it a couple of times, which is unusual because I don't really watch my shit. But this one, I was just like, yeah, okay, this was there's every once in a while I did one called Scrapper a few years before that, but you talk about a budget. The budget was $50,000.
Wow.
For everything.
Wow.
My fee, which was nothing, obviously.
Location, music,
all
editing,
of that stuff.
camera, equipment.
They flew me up to Seattle. This guy called me, and I knew him from somewhere. Flew me up to Seattle, put me in a Motel 6, and other than that, everything went into the movie, and you could tell the sound wasn't so great.
Right.
But the movie turned out, I was like, wow, okay, for $50,000, a 90-minute movie, it was, yeah. So
you enjoy those?
I do. I really do. I enjoy.
That's like on your checklist. Like, I got to do one of these every 2-3 years or something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's like
That's so cool.
For instance, when I do Aquaman, a $200 million film, something like that, right? And they fly you to Australia. You're in a massive fucking suite on
thousands
the ocean.
Of employees.
Your trailer's fucking huge, and everything is at your fingertips, and I mean that's fun, no doubt about it. I'm not saying it's not.
Didn't you guys have bikes and stuff that you guys were just getting around?
Oh, dude, it was
Yeah.
But then you go and you do these, $50,000, $200,000 projects, which is like a day of craft service on Aquaman,
right?
And you just go, yeah, well, this is why I started acting. This was the reason. So I got
40 years ago. Fuck.
Yeah, right. So you go, well, you gotta do them every once in a while to stay connected to the whole reason that you do what you do. I never thought I'd make any money or.
What do you get? It sounds like you don't get anything out of it other than you enjoy it. But is there anything that you get out of it that kind of like roots you down to your feet? Like, how like Mike Tyson back in the days when he hit it,
right,
or he made it, he would wear his old tennis shoes.
Right,
and he goes, yeah, I wear my old tennis shoes because when I look down, it makes me humble.
Right.
Is it something like that, or?
No, it's just the pure connection to why you do this. You know what I mean? And I think, you want to help other people, start to achieve the things that they want to do. Yeah, I mean, I've done, and trust me, I've done 25 independent films, easy. Some more independent than others, but by independent, I mean, they all cost under $1 million.
Right.
And most of them are, under 500,000, which is nothing in Hollywood, But I just do it because I love the idea of getting together with a group of people and trying to, because, the script is from nothing, right? The script is from some guy's or woman's head.
Yeah, a one-liner idea that they had.
They write it out, and they create it all. And now my job is to try to enhance what I'm reading as much as possible. I do that as an actor, right? So I want to be surrounded by other actors who, that's their motive too. Like, they're not trying to become movie stars off of this script, or something like that. I mean, obviously everybody wants to be successful, but the idea is, how can I help this script? How can I make this better, from my job? And then obviously, you hopefully the producer's doing their job to make it better, and the director and all that stuff. But that feeling of being a part of something that started from nothing, is just satisfying. It's exhilarating, and it's awesome. Easier to get that from an indie than it is from Aquaman.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's you guys have everything.
Right.
You know,
you don't have to think.
Yeah,
Just
but you also, you know, you can say, oh, this week's filming, we have to scrap it.
Right.
And you can't do that on an indie. You can't scrap anything. You can't say, oh, this we have to redo this scene. You know, you can't do that. You fucking, you know, you got to take your shot and you got to live with the consequences of that. That's something exciting about that, you know.
That's awesome. That's such a great experience.
Yeah.
What are you excited that you're working on right now or that's already out? What's your most exciting that you love in the last 3 years, 4 years? And what's coming?
I don't know. I have a lot of stuff coming up, man.
You have a lot.
Really.
I know.
Really. I think the thing I like, one of the things I like the most is the Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah.
On Paramount Plus with Jeremy Renner. I like the writing. I like the rawness of it. I like the grittiness of it, you know, and it's fun because you know you're always gonna get good scenes. You know, you're always gonna get strong material, and you're gonna have good actors to work opposite.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm excited about that. I actually watched the show, which, you know, I don't always do. Yeah. Even on shows I like there are other shows I really like.
It's hard sometimes. That's all.
Yeah,
to listen to watch yourself or.
Well, it's like I'm doing shit and I'm you know, it's hard for me to be home and say, hey, I'm gonna watch what I want to watch right now. You know, because I can do that. Like right now, I'm talking to you right now because the kids are in school.
Right.
But as soon as this is over, I got to go pick up the kids. And today, what's today? Thursday, I got to take them to gymnastics. You know, and my daughter has her musical theater class. You know, and my other kid has football practice. You know, stuff like that. So, yeah. And I don't. In those free times, I don't want to sit back and watch a TV show or a movie. I do that once in a while, but then you think, oh, I'll watch a movie tonight. But 10 o'clock, I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah, I fell asleep at like 9:50 last night.
Yeah, you're just exhausted.
Yeah.
So I don't get to when I watch something, it's by choice. I don't sit down and go, hey. Yeah. Let me see what's going on. You know, I've got plenty of time. You know, no, I don't have that. So,
and you're going to be traveling soon, right?
Yeah, I got to go. I just did a Netflix limited series that we're still doing, but we got shut down because of the strike.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 or 3 weeks left on that, and that. That's what we were shooting in Massachusetts and Cape Cod, but we have to go to London to finish it.
Right.
And it's a big Netflix thing. You know, Nicole Kidman stars in it, and it's one of their big shows for next year. And it was a lot of fun, you know. But it's one of those Aquaman things. Like they have so much fucking money.
Yeah.
But the material was good. I love the director, this female director I think she's from Denmark. She's fantastic, and I had a good time. But I owe 2 or 3 weeks on it, and a lot of it is my stuff. Yeah. So I got to go do that, and then we're gonna start up on season 3 for Mayor of Kingstown. And then I do another show that is supposed to be starting. The season 2 premieres in November 2nd or something. It's a show called Kingdom Business on BET Plus, which was actually something I wasn't keen on doing because I was like, you know. But the material was really good, and Yolanda Adams is in it, who is huge in the gospel world.
Yeah.
She's a gospel singer. Well, she's a singer, but she's an amazing person and so fun to work with. And my man Michael Jai White is in it, you know, so I get to work with him every once in a while, and I had a lot of fun on that. A lot of fun.
Good. So the execution was done properly.
Yeah, I think so. For the most part,
you went into it, and you walked out of it like, oh shit, that was
for the most part. Yeah, I mean, I had fun. It's a lot of times it's not what the end result is. Right. It's like the joy,
the process,
or the not the joy. In doing it. Right. So the process, the people you're working with, the material you have, and the ability or the non-ability that you have to help shape it. You know, I mean, that's where the fun is, right? You go, okay, I assume you hired me because you like my work and you trust that I'm going to try to do the best work I can do, right? So, and the way I do that is I break shit down and and I'm going to question this and I'm going to question that. And, but not to be an asshole, it's all to make it better. To make it clearer to me so that I can make it clearer to the audience, and I always love that process. And it's very rare that it's not fun.
Right.
I mean, there are those times, but in general, I love that. I love being on set, and I love, working with different people and different characters and different situations.
Oh, it's fucking fun. I mean, if you break it down to like the simple things in life, look at children. What do children do? They love to pretend. They love to play. They love to like, oh, look, they're imaginary friends. Look, my fake food.
Right.
I'll make some food and my son will be like, Papa, I made you a sandwich too. And I'm like, my sandwich is nothing. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like that's who we were born to be. That's how we come to this earth.
It's the big boy version.
It's the big boy, and getting paid.
Yeah, and you get paid. I mean, that's not bad either. Especially again, I thought that I not only would I be working less, but I would be making less money.
Right.
But both of those things are not true. I'm working more, I'm making more money, and I'm still enjoying it. And I'm still relevant. And I think part of that is because I do work so hard. And also,
and you've been doing it for so long.
I've been doing it a long time, but also I like being positive. There's a lot of times you come to set and this by the crew, right? If they see the advance call sheet for the next day and they see who's coming in, and you want to be one of those people that when they know you're coming in, they're like, oh, great. Yeah, he's fun. You can talk to him, and he knows his shit, right? So we'll get out on time. Yeah. You don't want to be one of those actors where the crew sees you're on the call sheet and they're like, oh, shit, this is going to turn into a 14, 15-hour day because that person doesn't know their lines, or they're going to argue about this and argue about that, or stay in their trailer longer than they, blah, blah, blah.
He's going through a divorce. Gee.
Right. Whatever reason. Whatever reason is that, you want to be, at least I do, I want to be one of those guys who the crew is happy to see, not just because I'm a nice guy, but because they know I'm not going to fuck around and add time onto their day.
Right.
Because they're there longer than we are, and they're there every day. As an actor, you're there 2-3 times a week. If you're number one, maybe you're there a little bit more, but sometimes depending on the size of the cast, you're there once, twice a week.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't want to add to anybody's travel time. Yeah. Cause if I'm doing 12 hours, they did 14, especially the drivers and the wardrobe, because they got to stay after I leave, get my clothes, get everybody's clothes, prepare, make sure they're good for tomorrow and all of that stuff, and makeup and hair. They have to get all this shit together and this and so it's
so fucking big, dude.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and I think
so intricate,
right? And I don't want to add to any negativity or any additional time because I just didn't know my shit. You know what I mean?
And not only that, but it's like in general, keep your shit together, and you make it better for everyone and yourself.
Right, of course.
You make it,
of course.
It's even easier for you. It's better to be prepped. It's better to come with a positive attitude. Because we've been in those days that we're like, oh, I'm fucking furious. And it's like, guess what? You're going to have a shitty day, and you're going to make it shitty for everybody.
Right.
You know, like in that work situation,
right, for
or
sure.
just in your household.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, same thing. Even if I don't go anywhere, right? But I'm passing that on to my wife, and I'm passing it on to my kids. And, I mean, what good is that doing? Even if it's been a shitty day.
Even if it's just to yourself, what good is it doing?
But that's what I mean, though.
Right, let alone.
It's going to spread unless you're just by yourself, But then you're going to make it worse, right? So I never, even with my wife, I'm like, it was just she and I hanging out. I don't want to have any negative influence. I don't want negative energy. It doesn't mean that, I always have to be Mr. Happy.
Right.
But the truth is, my attitude is a choice. For me, this is what I believe. If even you don't have to be having a great day to decide to be happy. You know what I mean? You don't have to, like some shit happened to me this morning, and I was pissed about it, and I was like, fuck, because it was something I really needed to get done, and I thought it was getting done, and it didn't get done. And I was not happy, but that lasted for 15 minutes. And then I said, okay. If
you were talking about the traffic for a second.
No, yeah. But you just go, okay. And then so what am I going to be pissed off all day? I mean, how does that help me?
Yeah.
So I gave it the time, and I fucking let it go. And then I'll deal with it,
Yeah.
To me, that helps me really regulate the kind of guy I want to be, and the kind of, whether so it's like, it's easy to be happy when everything's going great.
Of course, that's easy.
Right. So but the thing is, what do you do when the chips are down, And then again, it's not to say that you can't feel what's going on, but at some point you have to do something about it.
Yeah.
Or it's just going to fester, and then I just don't want to be that dude, you know what I mean? I want to be able to move on.
Well, it sucks. No, it's not good to be that dude. And guess what, dude? Most people don't want to be around you, whoever that dude is.
And maybe you don't even want to be around yourself.
Yeah, I've been that dude. It's just you need to catch yourself and get out of it. Because guess what, man? Life's tough.
Right. I mean, it doesn't always happen. Obviously.
And if you think about how little it does happen, it's like, wow, why am I even getting that mad?
Yeah.
Because it's like, how many times is like something bad happen?
Right.
In a month, 4 times. Like, all right.
Right.
4 times of like 30 minutes of bad news.
Well, dude, what I've been trying to do over the last year is just grateful when I fucking wake up in the morning. Because there's going to be a day when I don't wake up, And so I'm just grateful that I wake up and that I can put my feet on the ground and try it again for another day. You know what I mean? And as corny as that may sound,
it's not corny
it's
at
fucking
all.
true. It's like I'm here. I woke up. I have the ability to do things, to get things done, to see my wife, to spend time with my wife, like nothing time where, we're not going out on a date or anything like that. We're just hanging out,
Drinking coffee,
or, sitting in the backyard talking shit and, I'm just, I feel grateful for that time,
Michael, you're very blessed, bro.
Yeah.
You are very blessed. I've seen, some people that have the money but don't have the fame. I've seen some people that have the fame but don't have the family. I seen there's always something. You all around are very blessed. And that comes from good energy, and that comes from being a good person. That's not something you stumbled upon. This is your life's work we're looking at.
Well, to me, my job, I want to be happy regardless. I don't, there's not a thing that I have to achieve in order to be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to be happy regardless of whether I achieve something or not. You know, now obviously I still fight to achieve things, but the idea that you still fight to achieve them, because right, everybody fails, but you never achieve if you don't try shit.
Yeah.
Right. So I like with my marriage, you know, I just think it's important for me, not for my wife, but for me, that I treat my wife well. Obviously, it's important to her, but it's actually become over the, bunch of years really important to me, because if I say that's the kind of guy I want to be, I can't go on, social media and say that.
Yeah.
But in reality, behind the closed doors, I'm kind of addicted to her.
Yeah.
Or I'm fucking around on her behind her back or something like that. But on IG, I'm like, oh, everything's great and everything, it's like I don't, and everything is great, but we have problems like everybody else,
right?
Disagreements. I'm fortunate that our problems are very, very minor, but I think that's because we both make each other priorities,
Communication too.
Yeah. Yeah, we talk a lot, especially, whenever all the kids are asleep or when they're in school, and it doesn't have to be about big subjects, but we really like spending time together, just hanging out,
Do you have like a default go-to homie or friend or your boy? Like, I got my boy Cash that I'm always like, bro, today I fucking, I didn't go to the gym, or life sucks or whatever. Like, do you have somebody or everybody's in your home? That's your
Well,
wife.
That's my wife.
That's your wife.
Yeah, that's my wife. Now I have my best friend Eric LaSalle, but it's and we talk about shit, but it's mostly my wife. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's a good life. I agree. I'm blessed.
Oh, blessed, man.
Yeah, blessed. I really am.
I think we're good, man. We got an hour and a half.
Oh, damn.
An hour and a half.
Now it's only going to take me an hour and a half to get back to the freeway.
Yeah, just an hour and a half to go a mile, half a mile. No, man, I appreciate the friendship. I appreciate everything. And we'll bring this up just for the fun of it, but we just took 2 of your bikes to Bartell's.
Yeah.
And you got a CVO and a Dyna Police bike.
My last 2 bikes.
Your last 2 bikes.
Yeah.
And Bartell's is hosting it, and they're going to be selling it.
Yeah.
So that's it. No more bikes, huh?
Well, not for now. Yeah. I mean, with my wrist and everything, and I, prior to getting the surgery, it was, it weighed on me. Riding.
Oh, no, you couldn't even move it in the garage.
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't move it. Yeah, still, let alone riding.
Yeah, it was tough. And I've been away for so long, they just sit in the garage. Those bikes are badass.
Super.
I talked to Cole and he was like, "Oh, these bikes are nice." The guy that came to pick him up, I think it was his uncle.
Yeah.
He was like, "These are nice," and he said to me immediately, he goes, "This Dyna is gonna sell instantly." And I was trying to tell him
like more.
I should have. But regardless, I was like, I'm glad they're out, because I told you we're doing construction on my house.
Right.
I did a big overhaul, and my house is completely new, but we need this extra section.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use because I have a big garage. I'm just gonna use part of the garage to create this new laundry room, right? And that was the side I had my bikes on. 8-9 months ago, I had 5 bikes in there. So it was just silly. It was too much.
When did you get rid of the beach cruiser?
About 8 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the beach cruiser is what we used to ride when we used to ride 15 years ago or whatever.
Well, the dude I sent, that was up at Santa Clarita, and the guy who bought that, he changed the bars, and I think he changed the rims.
Well, you have big fucking bars, dude.
Yeah, I did. But
what did you have, like 18, 16s?
They were 16s, but they were Carlinis, so they curved into you. You know, yeah, they were nice. But
Hot Dog painted that bike, right?
Hot Dog painted that bike.
Yeah.
Right. The paint job was sick.
From West Coast shoppers.
From West Coast, and he, the guy who bought it, is now winning bike shows all over the place.
Oh, I bet.
And
man.
it's mostly that paint job, you know.
Of course.
But the fishtails, you know, and obviously the wheels were nice. And I think he put apes on there. He put different apes on there.
Yeah.
And
it was a lot of chrome.
It was a lot of chrome.
It was a sick bike, yeah.
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick. But you know, it's weird because it's a bike you can't ride. You can't do 200 miles on it.
But you did.
I did, but now at my age, I'm like, oh.
I was like, man. And then you would have your little half helmet.
That's all I wore. Yeah.
And you would get hit by flies. And I'm like, how the fuck is he doing this?
Right, because there was no shield.
No shield.
That would fuck up the look, you know.
Dude, we would do like 150 miles, over 100 miles.
Yeah.
And I was like,
but my tailbone, I was like, oh shit. You know? But
the CVO and Dyna are badass, dude.
You could go forever on that CVO.
Yeah.
You know, it's as comfortable as the Ultra.
Yeah.
You know, and like I had 2 of those. I took them to Sturgis, and bro, it's like riding a couch, man. Yeah, those things are so nice.
And the handling and the performance. Like people think it's funny because you know we're the same height, and it's like, isn't that too big of a bike? Right. It's like I feel fucking perfect in it. Like
it's great.
For me, I don't know if you've had this feeling, but for me, I'm like, dude, if I was like 4 inches taller, I'd be getting blasted by I'd wind wobble.
Yeah.
Like it's made for us. Whereas opposed to like my BMW GSA, that thing's tall.
It's
like,
high.
I'm tippy-toeing.
Yeah.
You know, even when I have the seat low, I'm like, this is fucking too tall.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's how they are made. Yeah. But when you get a Harley, and I think I dropped dropped the seat on one of my Ultras, so it was super comfortable. And you know, those things are 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
But when you're on it,
you don't feel it.
You don't feel that weight at all.
I did my DMV test on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. When I was working for Van Nuys at the time, and I had the cobalt blue streak line.
Yeah.
And this guy, I was driving without a license forever. And then I was like, I need my license. So I went and did the appointment. This guy was going to let me borrow his scooter for a 6-pack of beer. So he's like, yeah, I'll meet you at the DMV. So I went with the streak light, and then I call him up. He doesn't answer. And then I'm up, you know, and they're like, and this I think she was Armenian or something, but she's like, hey, you gonna do it on this bike? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you know, I've told this story so many times. She's like, you know, there's men that are like 6 foot tall with beards, fully tatted. They come in scooters, right? And I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. You know, fuck it. I have no choice. But I've been riding forever,
right?
And I've had baggers. Anyways, the first little loop-de-loop in the circle, I had a crowd, and they're like, get the fuck out of it. This guy's got it. And I passed my DMV test because they're so nimble to handle.
They are.
I think, okay, what handles better? The beach cruiser or your CVO?
No not even
question.
Close. Yeah, not even close.
You could do circles in the fucking CVO without even thinking about it.
CVO. I think the Dyna handles nice.
Yeah.
But any other like soft tail...
No,
you know, it's just
chopper. Or hard to, no, it's not gonna work.
They're not. Yeah. Street the baggers are fucking ridiculously. I remember obviously when you were young, they were always considered the old man bikes. Right. It's like that's an old man. But
15 years ago for sure.
Right. But once you get on it and you ride it, you're like, whoa, this is the
shit.
Most comfortable bike.
Handling
and the handles, you know, you just boom, boom, boom.
No wind on my face.
It's amazing.
Radio? Is this a radio? What?
Yeah.
Fucking Bluetooth.
And then satellite.
Did you ever get into the Cenas or the Bluetooth headsets?
No, because I always wore my half helmet.
Dude.
You know, I tried to wear the full face, and my wife, you know, we we drove up to Vegas or to Reno or something like that, and we put that on so we could talk. But it was just, I just didn't enjoy it, man. I like the wind. I like the feeling, that shit.
Let me tell you something. I started using that maybe like 3 years ago, and going from riding as long as we've been riding without it, to now to have like 5 motorcycles.
Right.
It looks like we're reading each other's minds. It's like, hey, bro, you're taking your turn too hard, or you're on the wrong gear, or watch out, what the fuck. There's a Prius. Watch out, it's a Prius.
It's a Prius.
It's a Prius. Fucking Prius. Just, I got to take a piss. I got to fucking get gas.
Right.
Hey, how was your week? Like, it's so awesome, but it's weird because you don't see the person's face. And you're just seeing like the back of helmets.
Right.
Or there's...
Dude. Getting used to their voices, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
well, which guy is that?
Cool, man.
I guess it would be, but I just like we never had those problems when we didn't have those things, right?
Of course,
you know, somebody's like, you know, gas. You go, you need gas. Oh, you're hungry. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you got to pee. Oh,
whatever. Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, it was never an issue, but just now, just to like clear words, because then there is times that like you see something and then you can't express it. You know, like somebody's turn signals out or something.
Right.
And then you want to tell them, but you forget because you're having fun and you're riding. Then you pull over and you forget. And then like a month later, it's like, oh, my turn signal. Oh, yeah.
I meant to
I
tell you.
I saw that. That fucking girl walked by.
Right.
Whatever the case is.
Well, for me, it was like having had so many motorcycles, you go, oh, the full face, it works on a bagger. But if I'm riding like a chopper style or the beach cruiser, I just go like, the full face doesn't feel right on that, or it just never. It's funny because when I went down 8 or 9 years ago on the Dyna, and I went down, some over there. I went down but I was on my way to pick up a full face in Pomona, so I was on the 10. I had my little, half helmet, my little Nazi thing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I went down maybe.
Your hat has more protection than that.
I went down, I think I was doing about 55 on the 10 freeway the day before Thanksgiving. So it was crowded. Right. And I'm behind a van. I come out to go, lane split. There's a boulder like this dropped off somebody's truck, literally right on the line, and I don't see it in time. I hit the thing. I go up pretty high, come down. I'm on 2 wheels, but I'm
on 2 wheels.
I'm on 2 wheels.
Wow!
But I'm doing this.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know why. I'm on 2 wheels, so it should be fine. 50 yards down the road, I go down. It turned out that because I hit that boulder, my front rim was bent in. So I kept hitting. It was like I kept hitting a rock. And it just threw me to the right. And I fucking went down. And I went down in that half helmet. I come down on my right side. I got all my road rash stuff here and on my up of my arm. My head hit the ground. I tumbled maybe 3-4 times. My helmet was a big crack here and a little split.
No fucking way.
And I had a huge bruise right here. But I didn't hit my face, thank God.
So you were like tucked in.
Yeah, I tucked and I rolled. And that helmet, which again, we all know it doesn't mean shit. It just happened to, because
it was enough.
Especially those helmets, like with the wind, especially if you don't have a shield, they can just blow back a little bit, right, like that. And so every once in a while, you just pull it down and it blows back a little. If you don't, because you don't want it super tight,
right?
Here. But it fucking stopped my head from bashing on the 10 freeway. And I was going to get this full face. And eventually I got the full face. and it's in my fucking garage.
And that's what we were talking about in the beginning, though.
But I still use. That was 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. I still ended up using. I tried to put the full face on. I said, "Fuck it," and I still use that same fucking helmet that's fucking dented. And
I love full face, man.
Yeah,
it
was just never my thing. Never my thing.
Fuck. Well, we got to figure out a solution for what people are going to do with all their used motorcycle gear. Because you were talking about how much you have, and I'm like, dude, I have so much.
I know, man.
So we got to do this again, man.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother. This is what we did before COVID. Before
That's
COVID.
right. That's right.
Thanks, Peach.
All right, brother.